Darley pumps unleash power and precision every time. All pumps and parts manufactured in the U.S. and used by the U.S. Navy, Coast Guard, and municipalities nationwide. Darley, DARLEY.com/pumps. Built for performance, powered by technology. Darley. Hi, Chris McClune here with Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment. Welcome to this edition of our podcast. It's the end of January already, January 2024. It's come and gone. I would say Happy New Year because this is the first podcast I've done, the first commentary format that I've done this year. But I was told a few weeks ago you only have a few days into the new year before it's not okay to say that anymore. So oh well. But we are at the end of January. There's been a bit that's gone on this month. Weather-wise, it finally feels cold here on the East Coast. So we actually got some in the Mid-Atlantic region. I'm outside Philadelphia. We got the first measurable snow that we've had in about almost 2 years in the Philadelphia area. So personally, I was excited. I love snow. If it happens during a work day, I can't concentrate. I'm like a little kid wanting to look out the window all the time. But it's been a busy month fire-wise. I know for my fire company, we're having quite a month. We're averaging probably 2 to 3 calls a day, which for us is we're a volunteer fire company. That's a bit high for us, to average. But speaking of fire calls, though, we did just lose a firefighter last week, January 26th. We lost a Plainfield, New Jersey firefighter in the line of duty. He was at a house fire. The initial reports were that there was a collapse inside during that fire. The bottom line is he perished as a result of his injuries that he sustained at that fire. So there is information on fireapparatus.com and fireengineering.com. Certainly our thoughts are with this firefighter's family, as well as this firefighter's extended fire department family. So please keep the firefighters in Plainfield, New Jersey, in your thoughts as we move forward this week. It can't be an easy week there. There was another incident this month which could have turned out a lot differently, but due to a lot of different things, it actually there was a more positive outcome at the end than you would have thought. And this was in Missouri. I'm sure most people have seen one or both videos that circulated social media very quickly. Earlier, it was actually earlier. It was in the last full week of January. As I mentioned, we've had some weather out this way, and in the Midwest, this particular morning there was a lot of ice out. And in this video of the rig, it's coming down a hill. It it makes contact with the ice. It very, very quickly. It was going down a hill, so it was on an incline, a decline, and so it was headed down the hill. You can't tell from. I mean, there have been a lot of things said about it. Just looking at the video, it looks as if either it started to slide toward the driver's side, toward the left, or that the driver realized that it was starting to slide and tried to go toward the left to get it to slow down by hitting a grassy area or a dirt area. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and it spun. It spun a couple times before striking a parked vehicle and finally coming to a stop right next to a house. And on fireapparatus.com, we have both of those videos, and we also have a still picture of the rig. It looked like a single axle quint. After it came to rest finally next to a house. The fact that this thing was on all four wheels when it finally came to a stop, to me, is a testament not only to the training of the driver, but also to the firefighter who was riding the seat, whether that was a lieutenant captain or a firefighter as an acting lieutenant or an acting captain. It was, I mean, it's a very dramatic video when you watch it. But I feel like, first of all, when I watch something like that, I'm always thinking, okay, how would I react? Because now, this isn't just, I mean, I can remember a time I was in a 96 Dodge Dakota, and I was on my way to work, different job. I was on an off ramp, and I hit one and I spun, but it all happened very quickly. There were no other cars around. I spun, and I must have spun out of whatever that ice patch was, because the tires gripped again, and I was okay. There's not a lot of time to think. There's not a lot of time to react. A million things go through your mind in a situation like that. And I wrote up something for fireapparatus.com where I discussed an incident that I had as a driver a number of years ago, where it was a very heavy, wet snow. It was not something that we expected. The weather forecast for that day, they kept saying the grassy surfaces would be covered. This was not a grassy surfaces snow. It covered the roads. There were a lot of people out. It was a regular day. No one was expecting the roads to get bad. So there were a lot of people out. All those people that were out were now stuck. We're now stuck in traffic to wherever they were going to go. It was gridlock everywhere. We were responding to an alarm. I don't remember what the alarm was, but we were going to the other side of the township, so it must have been like a commercial building type of response. As we're driving down this one street, and like I said, this was a heavy, gloppy snow, so you couldn't go very fast. There were cars everywhere, so you really couldn't go fast. Suddenly, to my left, I start to hear sticks. They started to fall, and this one tree just had a tremendous amount of this wet, gloppy snow on it. It weighted enough down where it came down. It came down right in front of me. Now, the speed at which I was going was such that I didn't hit it. I came within feet of it. I as I recall, I pumped the brakes, but the truck was it felt as if it might have slid a little bit. I didn't want to slam them on because I didn't want to lock things up. Very quickly, it struck me, man, if this is going to hit us, judging the speed and the timing and everything, if this is going to hit us, it's probably going to hit the front bumper. So once I kind of did that, I just kind of managed the vehicle coming to a stop. It did stop. We stopped within feet of it. We backed up. Shortly after that, when it came down, part of it was on some wires. So suddenly there was a big light show as the wires gave way. So it was a pretty exciting, few minutes. The adrenaline's going, your heart is pounding. I can only imagine what this driver was thinking as he was going around in circles. It did strike the one vehicle. I almost picture it like playing pool, where you hit it in a certain way and it just redirects you just enough to land somewhere else. And like I said, I mean, the fact that this was on all four wheels was really, really impressive to me. But also the officer in this instance, when the officer maintains their cool and does what they can to help with the situation, it does make it easier for the driver. I can also go back and think of a particular call. It was probably 2 a.m. We were responding to a call at an apartment complex. As we're approaching the entrance, it's 2 a.m. Everyone's kind of foggy at those kind of times. I noticed that the truck was not slowing considerably. It was slowing, but not enough where we were going to make the turn that we needed to make. I said to the driver, it's a left. It's right here. Make the left here. And he very calmly said to me, Chris, I can't stop. Now, it wasn't that we had no brakes, but the brakes were there was something wrong with the rear brakes where the truck was not. It just wasn't slowing down very quickly. very easy for me to say, what do you mean you can't stop? Or what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? What's the matter? I could have easily done something like that. I remember saying to him, all right, let's get to a stop. Let's, just keep on the brakes. We're slowing down. Let's get to a stop and let's just figure out what we're going to do, from there. It doesn't do me any good as the passenger to get the driver all wound up. It doesn't, doesn't do the driver any good to get him wound up. Anyway, not to make it, I'm not trying to make this, all about, Chris's experiences, but there, you do sit there and you reflect, like how would I handle that situation? And often when you think about how you would handle it, you go back and you look at situations from the past. I think the driver was well trained. I did not get the impression. I've watched these videos over and over again. I am sure that driver did everything he could. But when you're on a sheet of ice, it's not going to be easy to control the vehicle. There were no firefighter injuries. There were no civilian injuries. And the truck did not go plowing into a house. So, all for all intents and purposes, this had a positive outcome. So I was glad. And to a testament to the fire department here, this fire department encouraged people to share those videos because they're very dramatic, but they also you can learn a lot from them. So kudos to them for that. The last thing I wanted to talk about today is I said it last year after FDIC, and by the way, FDIC is coming, so FDIC.com. Don't forget to go there, check out the show floor, check out all the different classroom sessions. If you haven't signed up yet, you can register at FDIC.com. But after FDIC last year, I had remarked that I had never seen so much technology at the show. And technology, a lot of times we think of technology and broadly we think of, computers, tablets, software, stuff like that. But we don't always think about, smart extrication tools and things of that nature. So really last year it was present in a way that I hadn't seen before. It was really, really very impressive. And I've always said, embrace technology. You don't always necessarily have to be the first adopter of the technology. We all know that, it usually takes one or two iterations before the technology is adopted widely. So, but wanted to talk real quick because, I took a brief hiatus for a little while and I was on a technology brand, and this technology brand talked about vision systems. We talked about cameras. We talked about artificial intelligence. We talked about deep learning with these things. And I'm not going to get all into the weeds of all that stuff, but there is a story on fireapparatus.com this month about the FDNY and how they are looking to use AI to help apparatus respond quicker. They're going to use AI for traffic conditions to help apparatus move around faster. This gets into smart cities. When we talk about smart cities, we talk about some of the preemption devices that we talk about. Some of the technology that's incorporated into fire trucks to warn vehicles that a fire truck is coming, a fire apparatus is coming. But this is one of those things where AI is here, and that's a duh kind of statement to make, but it's here. It's here to stay. It's going to continue to be used in places we never thought it would. It's going to continue to be tested in places that we never thought it would. During COVID, there was AI and deep learning was used to ensure that people, believe it or not, that people were staying 6 feet apart. In stadiums, it was used there to ensure that people were, spreading apart far enough. So AI, FDNY is testing it out. I'll tell you what, usually when the FDNY decides it's going to test something like that, it's not usually something that goes away. They will usually make it work for them, and then you often will see it permeate in other areas. So check it out. It's on fireapparatus.com. It's about FDNY using AI to help responding apparatus get to where they need to faster. Be remiss if we didn't talk about a podcast that we did this month about the AFG grants and the SAFER grants. I also wrote about it in a recent editorial that we will see in February. It's time to mobilize. It's time to mobilize. These two programs need to be reauthorized this year. If they are not reauthorized, they will go away as of September 30th. That is when they are scheduled to sunset, they call it. I had David Durstein on from IDEX and Lee Morris from Oshkosh on. They belong to FEMA and PHMSA, and they were on to talk to me about what firefighters and fire departments can do at the grassroots level to work with their local, state, federal representatives, and also how to work with their manufacturing partners to ensure that these are reauthorized. If they're not reauthorized, they will go away. And for many of us who are veterans, who have 20, 25 years in the fire service, they may not remember a time when this when these programs didn't exist. 20 years, 25, they probably would. But we need to remember that these have not always been around, and they can be taken away quickly if they're not reauthorized. So we did a podcast on that to discuss how you can get out and help make sure that those programs are reauthorized. So it's been a busy month. On the fire side, it's been a busy month here at Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment. Take a look at our podcasts. They are all located at fireapparatusmagazine.com/podcasts. Looking forward to FDIC. Like I said, FDIC.com. Get on there, register. Housing, all that stuff is now available to you. So again, this has been Chris McClune with Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment. Welcome to the end of January. Can't believe it. It feels like just the other day we were watching the ball drop. But again, Fire Apparatus and Emergency Equipment, Chris McClune. Have a good one and stay safe. Darley pumps unleash power and precision every time. All pumps and parts manufactured in the U.S. and used by the U.S. Navy, Coast Guard, and municipalities nationwide. Darley, DARLEY.com/pumps. Built for performance, powered by technology. Darley.